Los Angeles is a place where race labels and real genetic ancestry do not always match, and that gap can affect care in the health field. To see why this happens and how to fix it, look at the systems that shape science in classrooms, journals, and research leadership. Gouvea argues that teaching genetics without addressing race leaves essentialist beliefs in place. Scholefield shows that journal standards shape categories and access. And Wonkam argues that research should be led by communities and share benefits fairly. Local evidence in LA makes the stakes clear. The UCLA Atlas study found that self-identified race and genetic ancestry often diverge. That mismatch can misguide precision medicine in Los Angeles. Precision medicine in Los Angeles becomes equitable only when it uses inclusive data, validates tools locally, and builds safeguards with both local and global leadership. People often think science class is just facts. Gouvea shows that this approach fails in genetics because avoiding race lets harmful ideas persist. In Los Angeles, that matters, since race labels and real genetic ancestry do not always match and care can go off course. The UCLA Institute for Precision Health wants tools that are safe for local patients, and UCLA Health names equity and justice as the foundation of care. Both groups recognize the same problem in Los Angeles. We need the kind of literacy that stops people from using race as a proxy and that asks for evidence about ancestry, data makeup, and testing on local patients. In other words, facts alone aren't enough. But humane genomics literacy gives a simple checklist that defines terms clearly, see who is represented in the data, and ask whether the model was tested on Los Angeles patients. In a county as diverse as Los Angeles, this kind of literacy helps students and clinicians avoid race as a one-size-fits-all label and supports careful testing in local clinics. Many assume science is neutral. Scholefield shows that journals set the categories everyone else uses, and vague labels flow into datasets, models, and clinic prompts. In Los Angeles, where race labels and genetic ancestry can diverge, that creates real risk. The UCLA Institute for Precision Health wants tools that are safe for local patients, and UCLA Health centers equity at the bedside. Both depend on evidence that uses precise terms, shows who's in the data, and reports results by subgroup. Scholefield's point is that systems shape what counts as evidence. When journals require clear population terms, transparent datasets, and subgroup results, the Institute can mirror those rules in review, and UCLA Health can integrate them into workflow. Use a table that names populations, add a one-page model sheet with performance by group and limits, and start with a trial in Los Angeles clinics before wider use. Precise writing leads to precise care here. Wonkam and the African Society of Human Genetics warns against helicopter research, where samples are taken and nothing is returned. They argue that equity depends on community leadership, fair benefit sharing, and local control of data. In Los Angeles, these principles match with the UCLA Institute for Precision Health, UCLA Health, and the LA County Department of Public Health needs, because race labels and genetic ancestry can diverge. The essence of Wonkam's point is that leadership and fair return are part of scientific accuracy, not extras. The UCLA Institute for Precision Health can require community advisors, data access and sharing agreements, and shared authorship before a project starts. UCLA Health can use consent that explains race and ancestry clearly and return results with navigators and clinics. The county health department can fund only projects with community benefit plans and publish simple reports by region and ancestry. Taken together, these steps deliver inclusive data, local testing, and shared oversight in Los Angeles. The UCLA Atlas study examined more than 36,000 Los Angeles patients and found that self-identified race and genetic ancestry often diverge. Even after adjusting for race, more than 250 conditions still tracked with ancestry, which marks a local risk for Los Angeles. Atlas gives the UCLA Institute for Precision Health, UCLA Health, and the County Health Department evidence to require inclusive data and local testing. The takeaway of this finding is that a label on a chart cannot stand in for genetic background. For UCLA Institute for Precision Health, set inclusive reference panels and ancestry-aware testing before approval. For UCLA Health, use ancestry-aware or race-independent criteria when safer. Make subgroup performances visible in the chart, and tune tools to Los Angeles patients with ongoing monitoring. For the county, define reporting requirements and publish results by region and ancestry. Atlas turns equity into actionable steps. The UCLA Institute for Precision Health turns discovery into care in Los Angeles. UCLA Institute for Precision Health manages biobanking and analytics and helps build the genetic tools clinicians use across the region. Because it guides the pipeline, UCLA Institute for Precision Health can set inclusive data standards, require ancestry-aware validation, and check subgroup errors before any tool goes live. It also keeps a clinic feedback loop so problems are caught early and fixed quickly. Leadership at UCLA Institute for Precision Health shapes safety before a model reaches a chart. Equity belongs at the gate, not at the end. In practice, this means brief model cards that show who is represented, clear gap thresholds, and a path to pause or retrain when performance drifts. With these steps and community input, precision medicine stays predictable and fair across Los Angeles. UCLA Health decides how these tools are used at the bedside, and that choice shows up in patient outcomes across the county. UCLA Health is where models meet people, from ordering a test to explaining a result. The system can require ancestry-aware validation before a tool is turned on, make subgroup performance visible in the charts, and use race-independent thresholds when that is a safer choice. The bedside at UCLA Health is where models are proven or broken. Clinicians at UCLA Health are gatekeepers, so safeguards must live in the workflow. Replace race-only prompts with ancestry-aware criteria when that makes the most clinical sense, and give clinicians a quick way to report mismatches. When UCLA Health tracks outcomes by subgroup and updates tools based on what it finds, equity becomes part of routine care. The Los Angeles County Department of Public Health sets the county standard for equity and links academic tools to community outcomes. The department reaches every neighborhood that relies on the public health system and can align new trials with the health equity framework. It can set reporting guidelines for data and outcomes, require community benefit plans and funded studies, and bring together clinics, researchers, and community groups to align decisions with local needs. Taken together, these steps make equity measurable and public. In practice, this means clear standards before a tool is used, buying and funding tools that meet inclusive validation, and dashboards that show access and results by region and ancestry. When the department funds what works and fixes what does not, precision medicine improves opportunity, access, and outcomes across Los Angeles rather than in only a few areas. Bogdan Pasaniuc is a UCLA researcher whose work shows that many polygenic risk scores trained on narrow datasets fall short for people with mixed or non-European ancestry in Los Angeles. He argues that accuracy should be tested at the individual level with ancestry-aware modeling and diverse reference panels. He also calls for clear reporting so clinicians can see when a score is uncertain for a patient. The key point is that method and context decides safety. Calibrate models on Los Angeles datasets, show performance by ancestry groups, and surface uncertainties in the charts. Keep a fast path to retrain or replace tools when gaps appear. With this approach, researchers and clinicians make precision medicine more accurate case by case. All of the pieces fit together. Literacy improves how we read claims. Editorial change improves the inputs. Local leadership builds trust. Local evidence shows the gap that needs to be closed. The message is consistent. Equity depends on inclusive data, local testing, and shared governance. The path forward in Los Angeles is straightforward. First, build inclusive panels and report performance for each subgroup. Next, validate models with ancestry-aware methods and monitor them after they are deployed. Finally, add community oversight, set county standards, and create a clear path to pause or replace a tool that underperforms. In short, equity in precision medicine works only when it is built into every layer, including data, clinics, and policies, and it must reflect the real diversity of Los Angeles.